Esta es la información de los detenidos en el condado Clark. Como ustedes pueden ver, la mayoría de personas tienen hold de inmigración. Y sí, es verdad que son policías, pero acuérdate una cosa, que se estaban dando trainings a los policías para convertirse en agentes de inmigración. Y muchos de ellos ya hicieron el training y ya están preparados para hacer detenciones e incluso ellos pueden hacer redadas migratorias. Claramente son policías, pero ya han hecho el training, así que ahora también son agentes de ICE. Estas son todas las personas que entraron el día de ayer y que también están entrando hoy a las cárceles del condado Clark. Así que para aquellos que dicen chismosa, y en realidad no me importan sus comentarios, que si soy chismosa o no, ese no es problema tuyo, es problema mío. Yo únicamente les estoy compartiendo información a las personas que quieran informarse. El que no puede deslizar el video y buscar algo de su gusto. Ya estas son todas las personas que han entrado a las cárceles del condado Clark y están bajo hold de inmigración.
Immigration just took these guys over here. Whoever knows this truck, they just took him. There were 3 of them.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 37, reading verse 12. It says, "The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth." I want to give all honor, all glory, and all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders of the nation of Israel. Shalom to you brothers out there that are laboring, enduring the elements, making your body a living sacrifice, trying to seal the elect, making your call and election sure, seeking out your own salvation, as well as you sisters that are learning, listening, applying, being obedient to your husbands. Shalom, shalom. Once again, it's the brother Zachariah coming back to you with another lesson. All right, here on this Friday night, and Lord willing, this be edifying. All right, so as you saw the clips in the beginning, which the lesson is pretty much going to go into ICE, and this is it hits home because the clips you saw in the beginning, ICE is officially here in my city. All right, and was some talk that's going on at my job as well, which I want to elaborate on that. And these are things to keep in mind, and this is more and more for us to be circumspect, okay? Because Esau, is coming down with great wrath because he knoweth that he have but a short time, all right? So we gotta, once we understand that, you move in a certain way and you conduct yourself in a certain way, all right? But always be circumspect, which means to be cautious, all right? Of your surroundings and everything, okay? But yes, ICE is here in my city, and for what I've heard, they've apprehended a bunch of people, and I've heard different stories, and some, because there was a lot of talk at work, all right, and they were saying that some over $1 million worth of stuff was stolen, and the people that did it were with what they said, according to the people at work, were saying they were illegal. So it prompt having ICE coming up here, looking and seeing what's going on. So I don't know, but they're definitely up here and they're moving about. So it's kind of crazy. But that was just a lot of talking. There was some things that was said at work which kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But I want to go into it in this lesson and just show our people this is the mindset of Esau Edom, okay? But let me read this again, and then we're going to jump to that article, all right, as well. This is Psalms 37, reading verse 12. It says, "The wicked plotteth against the just being the Israelites, the wicked being the Edomites who are in rulership." All right, Job 9:24, the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked, okay? The Edomites are in rulership. But it says, "And gnasheth upon him with his teeth," all right? And that's symbolic for like their military, all right, this man's military power, which even a sword can be symbolic unto or synonymous with military, okay, military power, So his ICE agents, his National Guard, his army, all that is all synonymous, all right, with his sword. Okay, so you know, him gnashing up upon him with his teeth, you know, okay, because this dude is that dragon. All right, now let's go ahead and go here to the article. All right, because like I said, they're here in the city. All right, and I believe they're still here, so I don't know. All right, and look, weather alert, flood watch until Sunday. All right, yeah, we got some rain coming in tomorrow, so I don't know if it's going to be off and on. So for those that are tuning in, my highways, I'm still going to do my highways tomorrow. I ain't going to stop nothing. I'll just probably have to go to my location, you know, the other location I go to when it rains, which I don't like to go there. But anyways, I'll do it there if I have to. You know, it's not going to stop nothing. Lessons are still going to come out and all that. You know, I'm just going to have to be careful this weather. But I got this article here that says ICE holding 28 people at Clark County Jail after unannounced Operation Wednesday. You see, and that's what they were talking about. They were talking about it Thursday at work, but it was unannounced. They just popped up, you know. So that's why people were all on social media, as you saw some of them clips, you know, and they were like, "Oh man, ICE agents are in the city, telling people be careful and all this kind of stuff." And so, you know, it's crazy. But it says at least 28 people were detained Wednesday and Thursday in Clark County and are now being held at Clark County Jail on behalf of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, according to jail records obtained by the News and Tribune. All right, reports of a ICE presence outside of a Home Depot in Clarksville. All right, that's the neighboring city. All right, literally, like where I live at, I could jump, you know, or technically we're on the borderline. You know, I could like the apartment complex, the property that I'm on, you know, a part of the parking lot, like I could step, like when I go out to take my trash, literally it's considered me being over in Clarksville. And then as I go back to my apartment, I'm in Jeff. You know, like if you ordered some certain food or something, like just say I wanted to order a pizza, depending on you know, which one, how they deal with us, that I may have to call the one in Clarksville, you know. So it's just, you know, it's kind of like I'm right there on that borderline. But right here it says reports of a ICE presence outside of Home Depot in Clarksville fostered some concern Wednesday morning after local activism group Do Something Southern Indiana posted pictures of a black unmarked Ford F-150 with blue and red lights on there on Facebook. Clarksville Police Chief Nathan Walls confirmed with the News and Tribune on Thursday that ICE or different agency acting on behalf of ICE have been in town. Okay, so you know, it said or a different agency acting on behalf of ICE, so it can be that also. You know, that's crazy, but it says have been in town. All right, he said nobody told the Clarksville Police Department about any immigration-related operations occurring Wednesday. They just show up. Walls added that while none of the detainees were held or questioned at Clarksville Police Department, officers did use the department as a rendezvous point. All right. It says we had no involvement in what they did yesterday as a department. Walls said my officers won't be a part of, you know, casting a net over some area, all right, and just rounding up people. All right, which Esau is a cunning hunter, all right, and he tends to throw out a net to try to catch people. Scriptures go into that as well, all right. This dude is the cunning hunter. But it says normally, Wall said, when ICE agents come to Southern Indiana, they have a list of people they are looking for. He said ICE did not appear to be looking for specific people this time, all right. Noah Munoz, all right, a Marine veteran and the Mexican owner of El Mañanero Breakfast in Clarksville, chose to close his business Thursday for fear ICE would target his mostly Hispanic customer base. Wow. It says, I'm basically showing support for my community because of this ICE operation that is going on around the community. Munoz said they are racially profiling. Absolutely. They looking for Jakes, man. Okay. Now let me go ahead and bring out this precept. We're going to go here to the book of Psalms, chapter 10. We'll start at verse 8. It says he sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. Ain't that what's happening? All right. In the secret places do he murder the innocent. Keep that in mind. I got an article we're going to go to in a little bit. All right. It says his eyes are privily set against the poor. Who are the poor? The Israelites. Okay. We've been brought to a low state. The so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Verse 9, it says he lieth in wait secretly as a lion. Keep that in mind too, man. All right, as a lion in his den, he lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doeth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. You see that? Lining up with that article we just read, how they said they just throwing a net and trying to catch people. Cunning hunter, man. Okay. Verse 10, he croucheth and humbleth himself that the poor may fall by his strong ones. His military, his ICE agents, okay? You know? They just pull up on the scene unannounced, all right? But they on the move, coming after Jakes, man. Okay, you see that? This is the book of Psalm 69. All right, reading verse 4. It says, "They that hate me without a cause are more than the hairs of my head." All right, they that would destroy me, being my enemies wrongfully, are mighty. Okay. And that's Esau. Esau is lifted up, okay? So they're considered mighty, all right? And we've been brought down to like a weak estate, okay? It says, then I restored that which I took not away, all right? You know, but the point here is that they hate you what? Without a cause. It's just they hate you because they ain't you, all right? They know who you are, all right? And they're hoping that you don't remember who you are, that you don't wake up. And see, the thing about it is our people are waking up. Even though you got our brothers and sisters coming from the other countries over here trying to look for a better life, but a lot of them are coming here for judgment. You know, it's two things. All right, they're either coming here for judgment, you know, in Babylon the Great, or they're going to come across their brothers that are already awakened in this faith and this truth. Here, seeing brothers on the highways and hedges, and they get this truth, and maybe they'll receive it. All right, and then, hey, some of those men, they could come and be on the highways and hedges with us, man. Okay, the scriptures talk about how these laborers, hey, it's few of us, man. Okay, but yeah, they hate us without a cause, man. Just like Yahushua, okay, which I wanted to bring this out. This is the book of John, chapter 15, reading verse 20. He says, "Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, all right, they will keep yours also." Okay, so you see that? It says, verse 21, "But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me." You see that? They know that we're the children of Israel, man. Okay, and they hate Yahushua. All right, they hate the Most High. All right, so of course so if they hate them, then guess what? They're gonna hate us too. All right, if they persecuted him, then guess what? They're gonna persecute us. All right, he was wrongfully accused. He wasn't doing nothing, simply just on earth doing the work of his Father, which is the Most High Yahweh. All right, they hated him without a cause as well. Okay, so again it says, but all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. Okay, now let's get to this article. This is from BBC. It says, man fatally shot by ICE in Houston was not intended target. Hold on, Salakia for that. Man fatally shot by ICE in Houston was not intended target, DHS says. So you see that? There was a Jake, man, that was shot, all right, by ICE, man. Okay.
New here at 6, a man from Mexico was shot and killed by a federal immigration agent during a traffic stop in Houston this morning, and the shooting is now under investigation. Immigration and Customs Enforcement says agents stopped a vehicle just before 7 a.m. while attempting to arrest the driver, identified as Lorenzo Salgado Oroja. The agency says the driver tried to use his vehicle to run over an agent who then opened fire. Araujo was shot in the abdomen, taken to a hospital, and later died. The FBI is leading the investigation into the shooting.
You're definitely feeling some heartbreak today.
Of course. It's a crime. It's not fair for somebody to get shot. Not even the police department here will do that to somebody that is unarmed. So why does ICE do this?
ICE has not released details about why Araujo was being sought, and no evidence has yet been publicly released to support the agency.
Okay, it says a man who was fatally shot by ICE agents, okay, at a traffic stop in Houston on Tuesday was not the intended target, U.S. officials say. Okay, it says Lorenzo Salgado Arroyo, all right, a Mexican national, okay, was stopped at 7 local time, okay, while driving to work, okay, and was killed shortly afterwards. So this man was heading to work, man, and got shot and killed. The Department of Homeland Security said on Thursday the stop was initiated because they saw a white van with an individual, all right, who resembled the target, all right, of an operation. It says they have said the officer shot in self-defense. Passengers in the van and the victim's family have disputed the department's account, and the agency's legal watchdog has opened an investigation into the fatal shooting. All right, that's crazy. It says the agents involved in the shooting were not wearing body camera. Wow, see that? And officials have not released any images or videos related to it. A DHS spokesperson said in the statement to the BBC's U.S. partner CBS News that half of its field officers were not equipped with body cameras, and the other half were expected to receive them in the next 60 days. Salgado, all right, 52, had been working as a builder for 3 decades in Houston area after coming to the U.S. as an undocumented migrant, his family said, all right. They said he had no criminal record. Wow, look at that, all right, and was close to obtaining a work permit. All right, he was driving himself and 3 co-workers to a site, all right, where the incident took place, they added. Wow, that's crazy, man. You see that? We're being slaughtered out here in this place, man. All right. Let's go here to, and I brought this out in an earlier lesson. Let's show you how much these precepts constantly come out, man. This is Proverbs 6, starting at verse 16. It says, these 6 things doeth the Lord hate, yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. Okay, verse 17, it says a proud look, a lying tongue, this is the point, and hands that shed innocent blood. Okay, which that's what I was talking about in the lesson earlier. All right, about that mother and father killing their daughter, man. All right, that's crazy. But it says a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. All right, and Esau's got a lustful blood. It tells you about that in the book of Ezekiel. This is 18. It says, in a heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift and running to mischief. Okay, all these things go back to Esau. Verse 19 says, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. Okay, the Heavenly Father hate those things. Okay, and it's not just our Northern Kingdom brothers. You know, even, you know, though I'm of the Northern Kingdom, you know, some people might look at me and think, you know, Southern Kingdom brother or something like that. You know, a lot of of the Northern Kingdom, you know, they have what you call those Negroid features. That's why they got reclassified as Negro. All right. But just showing you that both tribes, hey, the scriptures talk about how Judah and Israel were oppressed together. Okay, this is another example. And I went into this, few months back. Okay. But I didn't know what he died of, but I knew that they say he died in ICE custody. But this is a Haitian brother, okay, which will be of the tribe of Levi, okay. So here it is, all right, which the brother that died, the Mexican brother, all right, he's a tribe of Issachar, man. So here it is, you got Issachar and Levi, you know, and then, you know, you had Manasseh, all right, you know, brothers Cuba. They was down there in that alligator Alcatraz or whatever they was calling that place. And they were doing all kind of stuff to people, to our brothers out there, man. But it says tooth infection and dental disease cited as cause of death for Haitian man in ICE custody. And that's so they say. I mean, who knows? Maybe that's what really took him out. But, you know, he couldn't get the proper care he needed, you know, with the child detaining him. All right. But it says the Maricopa County Medical Examiner Office published its finding online, but said it has not yet released a preliminary report, all right, in the March death of Emmanuel Damas, all right, 56. All right, so he's around the same age as the Issacharite brother, all right? You know, 2 brothers in their 50s, man. They both lost their life in the custody of Esau Edom, man. All right? But yeah, man, this showing you, hey, that it says Judah and Israel are pressed together. All right. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 2, reading verse 10. It says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, okay, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. But it says, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." Okay. So, we know that this man is going to come down with great wrath because he knoweth that he have but a short time. And we know that he's also going to make war with the remnant of her seed. That seed talking about, of her is talking about Israel. All right. Because Israel is, synonymous with a woman. Okay. And her seed is that remnant, the elect. Okay. So they're going to come after us eventually. All right. But we got to be in that spirit of we don't fear this man, okay? But again, it says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. All right? Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." All right? Understanding that, let's get back to Esau, man. Psalms 37 and verse 32, it says, "The wicked watcheth the righteous and seeketh to slay him." So this dude is the reason why people die in this man's hands, because he's really seeking to destroy you. Okay? That's on this man's mind. Even the average Edomite, the regular Edomite, he just everyday Edomite, he get up and go to work. They think they can't stand you. Okay? And they think about doing stuff to you as well. Okay? There's so many different testimonies I can go into that. But, oh yeah, and I was getting ahead of myself. But while I was talking about the ICE agent stuff, my job, okay, with them being in my city, okay, the co-workers at work, a lot of them have been showing their hatred towards a Cuban brother that works at my job. Now, I will admit, the dude, he comes to work and he's on his phone all day. Like Ephraim, Manasseh, they got big families. We know Joseph was fruitful, okay, but they usually, they be talking to their kinfolk back home, and the whole reason them coming here is all the stuff that they got going on back there, but they work, make money, and send money back. Okay, but see, they came at the wrong time. Things are getting really bad out here, so it's not that easy. To do that. And now you're here and you look and you did all that stuff to come here, which they all juiced up. Anybody that's coming from Cuba to come here, Esau make sure that they took the what, okay? And he was telling the story of how, just to get here, they was giving them all kinds of, what, I can't say the word, but you know what I'm talking about. But they got that juice injected into them, all right? And he said he had like the 6 of them, okay? And then I think they even had to get a couple more since being here. So, yeah, that's crazy. But anyways, a lot of the coworkers have been showing hatred towards him, and these one coworkers, they feel comfortable enough to spew their hatred about him to me, So now and I'm thinking like y'all have no clue that me, he's more of a brother to me than y'all are, because we know Esau is Jacob's brother, but he's Jacob, I'm Jacob, we're of Jacob, we're of the stock of Jacob. So I'm looking and you're showing your hatred for this dude, and you're calling him all kinds of derogatory words, and I'm thinking like, if you're saying that to him, I can imagine what you say behind my back, which I'm sure they do. But they show their hatred about him to me. They talk about his work performance, which it's not all that great. Like I said, he comes in, he sits on his phone and all that, so I understand. But one of the things that struck me was one of the co-workers, this old lady, she really can't stand him. And she said that she thought about calling ICE and say, hey, maybe you should come take a look at our job and check on this co-worker, like basically calling on him. So that's one of the things we got to keep in mind. I'm saying be circumspect, because they can bear false witness, okay? And I just mentioned that in the precept that was just read. Yahweh doesn't like somebody that that bear false witness, man. Okay? So they want to make up something just to get them there, and maybe that might get him pulled out of there. So that's crazy. All right, but this is Psalms 37 and 32. It says, "The wicked watcheth the righteous and seeketh to slay him." Okay, So you see that? That's the spirit on Esau, Edom. You know their blessing is the sword, all right? And they hate Jacob, man. This is 1 Peter 5:8. It says, be sober, be vigilant. So that's how we got to be in these end times, man. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, showing us that we have enemies. All right, as a roaring lion walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So you see that? Looking for someone to devour, and he got an appetite for Jake, man. Okay? You know, if you a Jake, man, and you thinking that God loves everybody and everybody hold hands and sing kumbaya, it don't work like that, man. Because even if Esau fall, these other nations, one of them are going to step up, and they thinking that they got next. They hoping that this dude fall too, because then they thinking they're going to be next. You got the Russians thinking they got next, the Chinese thinking they got next, you know, the Hamites thinking they got next, Ishmael thinking he got next. All these different nations, they think they got next, man. But it's going to Jacob. All right. Once Esau fall, man, they gonna fall with him. It's gonna be like a domino effect. All right, but this is Ezekiel 35, starting at verse 5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and that's Esau. He has a perpetual hatred for Jake, man. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and has shed the blood of the children of Israel, okay? You know, of the northern and southern kingdom, okay? It says, by the force of the sword, which is his blessing, okay, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end, showing you that he kept it going. Verse 6, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God, Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, since thou hast not hated blood, okay? This dude don't care what kind of blood, man. He share innocent blood, all right? It says, and blood shall pursue thee, since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Absolutely. All praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All right. So with that, this is Isaiah 59, reading verse 19, and I'll go ahead and close it out with this. And I pray that this has been edifying, a little something in the spirit. You know, I was leaning into wanting to go into this, but I knew there was something else, you know, I wanted to talk about. I saw that one thing with the little girl, man, and that kind of struck me a little bit. And I was like, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and go into that first. But I definitely want to talk about this because that was a big thing, you know, around here. All right. And just got to be careful in these times, and people will betray you. Hey, and not just these heathen, but hey, keep in mind your own family. They might be in the spirit, because right now you see how these ICE agents just pop up, you know, the police didn't even know they were here. And that's showing you that these they could just pop up just like that. No notice, no nothing. Just boom, they here. Okay? Which that's how they're going to come when they come after the children of Israel, talking about the elect. All right? Isaiah 59:19 says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. Look at this. It says, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, and that's how they're going to come. They're going to come like a flood on you. The spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. So the Heavenly Father's going to lift up a standard, and that's why we got to be in that spirit of not fearing, okay? I just saw something earlier. A brother had a dream. It was a dream lesson, but it was like troops were coming after the elect, okay? And that's just showing you that's the spirit, because, you know, and here it is my city, and I'm in a small town, okay? Small Indiana town. You wouldn't think something like that would come here, but it's just showing you it could pop up even here. We got a lot of Cubans here, you know, that during that, when Biden was in, a lot of them popped up. So we got a lot of Cubans out here, you know, of the tribes. And unfortunately, you know, with me speaking Spanish, I can communicate with them, you know. So, you know, if we can get into a point where we get together and we talk, you know, you let them know, hey, we the children of Israel. We got to return to Yahweh. But it's hard. A lot of them have that mindset of, you know, they're here to make money, and that's the only thing that's really on their mind. They want to make money and all that. They're chasing the bag, but don't know is that I'm thinking like, oh shit, well, they must be here for judgment, you know. Especially the fact that the way that they got here, they had to take their juice, and we don't know what that might be doing to people. I know my family that took it, they're all like zombies, so that's gonna probably be their mindset too. You know, so you know, you trying to tell them this word, and maybe they're just here for judgment. Okay. But again, it says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord, all right, Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of the Lord Yahweh shall lift up a standard against them. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. I want to give all honor, all glory, and all praise unto Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders of the nation of Israel. And shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Into the next one. Shalom.